Hello, my name is Daniela Acevedo, and we will be talking about the Incoterm DAT, which stands for Delivered at Terminal. We will be talking about its explanation, its restrictions, obligations, responsibilities, and its way of negotiation. Okay. This term is more specific and used when delivery ends at named terminal on specific port of destination and unloaded. Seller pays all expenses until place of delivery and buyer pays for customs clearance and taxes at destination. By using that delivery at terminal, the seller clears the goods for export and is responsible until the goods have arrived at named terminal on destination. Terminal can be understood as quay, which is warehouse, container yard, or any road for rail, air, or road. The goods must be unloaded, and it is important to mention clearly the name of the terminal in detail. This term is used with any mode of transportation. It is recommended that sellers contract with their forwarding company mirrors the contract of sale. Now we will be talking about the responsibilities of this Incoterm, starting with the seller. The seller arranges suitable packing to meet with the export standard at his own cost. The goods are moved to the point of customs location to complete necessary export custom clearances, procedures, and formalities at exporting country at seller's cost and risks under the DAT terms. The seller needs all necessary expenses against custom clearances, documentation, and other required legal export formalities at exporting countries. Under DAT terms, all required taxes and duties at exporting country are paid by the seller. The buyer's responsibilities. Once after unloading goods at destination terminal contracted by buyer and seller under the DAT terms, the responsibility passes from the seller to the buyer to take delivery of goods to buyer's premises. Under DAT terms, the buyer meets all expenses to move goods from terminal to port place of final destination at his own risk. If any further movement of goods from the destination terminal contracted under DAT terms, such additional movement expenses is on account of the buyer. After the responsibilities, we will be talking about the negotiation techniques. One of them being the appointments in Germany are mandatory, and the meetings in German companies are generally scheduled well in advance. It is advisable that you make appointments in Germany in a few weeks beforehand by telephone or fax. Allow up to 4 weeks to make appointments if using the mail. Brief preliminary meetings may sometimes be arranged at short notice. Try to avoid business meetings in the months of July or August and around the times of the national holidays. The planning process is often very time-consuming. However, once this is over, a project will move very quickly, and deadlines are expected to be honored. Next, we will be talking about the restrictions. The restrictions focus mainly on what are the restrictions in Germany. It is only forbidden to export cultural goods, specimens of flora and fauna in danger of extinction, and war materials such as weapons, ammunition, and etc. There is a circulation of merchandise within the European Union. To leave the Union, it is necessary to go through the customs. The customs office verifies the verification of the export declaration. It must maintain short. It can control the merchandise and authorizes the withdrawal of the same. The merchandise is stored for 20 days, 45 in case of being a port, as maximum in warehouses or reserved areas in customs temporarily.
Hello, my name is Emmanuel Marina and I will talking about the seller and the buyer obligations. The seller's obligations. Provision of goods. The seller must deliver the goods, provide commercial invoice or an equivalent electronic document, provide evidence of conformity or proof of delivery, authorizations and formalities. The seller must provide export license or local authorizations for exporting goods, contracts of carriage and insurance, contract of carriage at seller's expense in the usual route to the agreed point of delivery. Delivery. The seller must deliver the goods unloaded at the agreed point and time. Transfer of risks. The seller is responsible until goods are available as agreed. Cost. The seller must pay all costs of main carriage, lowering at place of origin, export clearance at origin, unloading at place of destination. Notice to the buyer. The seller must notify the buyer that goods have been delivered. Proof of delivery, transport document or equivalent electronic message at his own expense. A document that allows the buyer to pick up the goods. Check-in. The seller must bear the cost of check-in, quality control, measuring, weighing, counting, packing of goods, and marking. If special package is required, the buyer must inform and seller and agree on extra expenses. Then we're talking about the buyer's obligations, and we were talking about seller's obligation. Now the buyer's obligations. Payment. The buyer must pay the price of goods as agreed in the contract of sale. License, authorizations, and formalities. The buyer must get any export license and import permit for the export of goods. Contracts of carriage and insurance. Contract of carriage without obligations. Contract of insurance without obligations. Take delivery of the goods at the agreed port of destination. Transfer of risk. The buyer must bear all risk of loss of or damage from the time the goods have been made available in the agreed place of delivery. Cost. The buyer pays for all costs relating since goods are available, import custom duties and taxes. Notice to the seller. The buyer must provide time of shipment and port of destination. Proof of delivery, transport document or equivalent electronic message except seller's delivery documents. Inspection. Unless it's mandatory at origin, pay any pre-shipment inspection. Thanks for giving us your attention. This will be all for now. Thank you.